Welcome to the Paper Talk podcast, where we have candid conversations with emerging artists and industry leaders about all things paper flowers. Through this podcast, we hope to continue to share knowledge, connect all of us together, and elevate the artistry of each and every one of us.
Hello, I'm Gwen Wen.
I'm Jessie Chu.
I'm Priscilla Park.
Our mission is to share,
connect,
and elevate the paper floral industry.
We are some of the voices behind the Paper Florist Collective. Welcome to our podcast, Paper Talk.
This episode is brought to you by Cartfini, the American distributor of Italian fine crepe paper. Cartfini offers crepe paper in more than 140 beautifully rich colors and in various weights and qualities, such as lightweight 60 gram, water-resistant 140 gram, and solid ombre and metallic 180 gram. Our favorite. Italian-made crepe paper has superior stretch, workability, and sturdiness, the perfect medium for paper floor art. Find out more about their crepe paper on their website at www.cartfini.com.
Let's talk about their 180 and all their amazing colors. I know that I use it a lot for my large paper flower installations, even though I use it for my small ones, which is completely different. I think one of the biggest thing is like stretching out your paper first and then cutting it will give you a different look than when you cut it and then stretch it afterwards.
Yeah, it has amazing stretchability, almost 200%. And I think that's what makes it so versatile. Like you said, stretching it before you work with it, but it's also stiffer than the finer crepe paper, whether it's a lightweight 60 grams or the German fine crepe paper. And so, like you said, it's perfect for those large flowers. Mm-hmm. Structurally, it holds it very, very well.
Yeah. And the large rolls, it comes in 20-inch wide, 8 feet long. So you get a lot. Yeah, you get your bang for your buck.
Definitely.
And also, oh my God, let's talk about the colors. I love the ombre. They have the pink and the white, which is absolutely gorgeous. I even love they have even a metallic ombre color, which is gorgeous. You can choose between the silver, the copper, and the gold tones, or you can just do the straight like silver metallic or the copper metallic or the gold. And they have like 2 different golds, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. And they're solid colors, the ones that we use the most.
Yes.
Colors are just, amazing. They come in vibrant colors, but then some other colors are more subtle.
Yes.
Each of them, though, are referenced by both a name and a different number. So we can be very specific about which color we're using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say if you haven't explored the Tiffany Turner line yet, she's always coming out with new colors. I believe she just came out with her 2nd color this year, which is amazing. The Distant Drums.
My favorite.
I mean, the Distant Drum and the Coco Loco are rose type. And just having that color, like you don't need to color, is such a great thing to have on hand.
So, I mean, I would have to say out of all of the colors, I love the Distant Drums and the Coco Loco. I like the green leaf for the versatility. I mean, yes, we talked about in Design Master, you can also use the space on the greens. And I have to say Goldenrod. I use Goldenrod a lot for my centers.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Well, I love all of them. I just don't have a preference at all. If I could have the whole line, which I actually have quite a bit of crepe paper because for my subscription box, I try to give out a whole bunch of different colors to the members. And it's so much fun to be able to say, you want a swatch of this or swatch of that, because you just need a little bit for a flower here and there. But to experiment and to color with is really great.
Yeah. So find out more about Cartfini and their crepe paper on their website at www.cartfini.com.
Welcome everyone to the podcast Paper Talk. We are so excited to welcome Eileen Lim from Miss Petal and Bloom.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It's really great to be here. I'm so happy.
It's great to finally talk to you in person.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm still a bit starstruck, so...
What? Oh my gosh.
You too.
No, it's the other way around.
No. I'm still...
I agree. It's
still very starstruck. So, okay. Anyway.
I remember when I first started, I remember seeing your page and I was like, oh, wow, this girl has a very like Kate Spade kind of vibe going with the colorful, vibrant, happy blooms. You have a unique way of taking photos of your flowers as well that make your products and your flowers and your bouquets very recognizable.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and generally, I remember thinking, "Wow, like she's really successful."
No, it's just Instagram. It's not all that glamorous. I'm just taking my photos on the floor. Really, I just put construction paper or cardstock, and I put my flowers, and I'm just, okay, take pictures, and that's it. So yeah.
Oh,
yeah. We would not have
Beautiful.
guessed at
it's
all.
it's really on the floor. Yes.
Yay for floors.
Yes.
You can do it with anything.
Anywhere.
So tell us a little bit about how you started. I mean, obviously I told you how I found your page on Instagram, but how did you start?
It's really actually through Instagram as well. I think I've always loved crafting ever since I was young. And, I was just looking for like a new hobby. And then I stumbled on Margie's Instagram page, which is just amazing. Like her paper flowers are so unique. And so, she has such a positive vibe to her as well, which is so inspiring. So I went to investigate what paper she was using, and I did my research, and then I actually reached out to Margie, and she's just so nice. She, gave me so much good advice, and yeah, she really kind of encouraged me to take that step. And so I just, I shipped in the crepe paper from Cartotecnica Rossi. I did my first few experiments, which was really bad, but eventually I really fell in love with it, and that's how I started out. Yeah,
that's amazing. So do you mainly use 180 Italian crepe paper?
I think it's because I'm in Singapore, and there really is nobody selling crepe paper here. So I always have to ship them in. And I just find that having this uniform 180 GSM, it's easier for me. Instead of keeping stock of 180 and 100 GSM, I just don't want to deal with too many numbers. So I just stick to just one weightage of paper. Yeah,
for sure.
That's great. I mean, your flowers are just beautiful. Yeah. You understand your medium, that 180 Italian crepe paper. You know it inside out. You know how to manipulate it. You know how to form it into beautiful roses and peonies and so many gorgeous florals.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I think anyone who's, been doing it for so long, I'm sure, it comes as second nature. Because I really do it almost every day. And I think now it's just it comes very naturally to me. So I'm sure anyone, who wants to try it out, as long as you practice regularly, I'm sure they'll be able to do it as well.
That's such a great advice. So how did you come up with your name?
It's so random. It was just a random thought in my head. And, I think I'm drawn to whimsical things. And to me, the name sounded whimsical and cute. And I was like, okay, sure. It's a bit long, but I think it reflects my personality. So I just stuck with it. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, a lot of people ask me if it means anything, and I'm like, no, it doesn't really. It just sounds cute.
I know. I get the same with my name too, Pink and Posy. It's so funny because a lot of people say, is pink your favorite color? And pink is not my favorite color. It's so funny. It was funny because the reason why I came up with the word Pink and Posy is I used to own a catering business.
I didn't know that.
And it was called Sweet Posy because I wanted to open up actually a bakery shop. But then when I started cooking a lot, people wanted more of my savory. And so I did a full-on catering business that did savory and sweet. And so that name kind of stuck. And then when I tried to think of a name for my business, I was like, everyone just says, why can't you use Sweet Posy? And I was like, I can't use it because I actually sold it to someone else. Someone else has the right for it. And so I was thinking, well, everyone loved the word posy. So I actually have spelled it Posie. And it's so funny. I get so many people saying posse, like cowboy posse. I was like, posse, how the heck? And so I changed it to the traditional spelling of Posey as a pocket full of posy. So, yeah. And so it means little flowers. And so a lot of people was like, well, pink and posy. And I was like, yeah, that just rolls
really
off.
has
Really
a nice
does.
ring to it. So yeah.
I can't imagine any other color. What other color would roll off like that, right?
Purple and posy. No.
Yeah,
exactly. So it was stuck, and now everyone thinks I love pink, which is so funny.
Oh, good thing there's lots of flowers that are pink.
Yes.
Kind of makes sense anyway.
Yes,
it's a good color to be stuck with.
And also brides, they love pink.
That is true. They do. Absolutely. So Eileen, how did you find your style? I mean, because your flowers are, you said that your brand or the name of your brand reflects you.
Yeah.
And some of their flowers, I mean, they've got personality, I would say.
Oh, really?
And even though you say your opinion is if somebody has worked with the crepe paper for 3 years, they should have some sort of familiarity with it. Right. I think that's true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can find a style that reflects a certain aesthetic or themselves or their personality. So tell us a little bit about your style. How did you find it?
That's a really good point. I don't really have a good story. I think it just naturally came out. It's just naturally what I gravitate towards, just like, I actually really like pink. So, I gravitate towards, the pink colors, the red. And I don't know, like, I don't know if it's a artistic instinct or something like that. So when I craft my flowers, I know when it's right. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I know when it's wrong or right, according to like whether it suits my style, I guess, or it reflects my personality. So I just kind of follow that gut instinct and, follow what I like, the colors I like, that kind of fluffy feel. Cause I like my flowers to be like big and poofy and cute. So yeah, I don't really have like a good answer for that. It's just like based on my gut feeling.
And I think your personality, as the more I talk to you and I follow you, I feel like you have such a bubbly, happy personality, and it translates to your flower.
Yeah, I'm glad that you pointed it out, because I don't know. I think crafting just really has made me a much happier person. Like if I wasn't crafting, I don't think I wouldn't have put out this side of myself, which is more bubbly and just, I don't know. Yeah, more bubbly and more open. I think I would be a bit more shy and introverted. So somehow crafting has really brought out this side of me. And just, I think being exposed to the community, the paper flower community in the US has really helped as well. Because I've just seen your interactions on social media and everyone's very open and warm and friendly. And somehow that's, right? It's kind of like, it's very easy to be inspired by that. And it's contagious almost. Like if the community was cold, I think I would be a bit shut off as well. But everyone is so open and they're so willing to share, which makes me want to share too, because I'll be like, I want to be a part of this community. So I think that's one of the reasons as well.
Yeah. And one thing I absolutely love what you do is you share other people posts about the flowers that you love. It's called
Monday Bloom Crush. I did that mainly because when I first started out, I remember being so kind of anxious about how to grow my following. I know following isn't like your Instagram following isn't the key to success or anything like that, but I do kind of recognize that it is kind of important to gain exposure. And I was very lucky to have different in the industry in Singapore who helped me to, to boost my posts and to, give me shout outs. And I just wanted to like
give back.
Do that. Yeah. To give back and do that for other people who, are still growing. So I was just like, okay, why not just we all share each other's work? No harm can come from it. We can all gain from it. So yeah, I just thought it'll be good.
So true.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I've been missing out a few Mondays, but it's okay.
I know you have to. Yeah, we all get busy. Yeah, I haven't been doing a very good job on posting on Instagram. I had so much in my life happening right now that's just been so
oh my gosh, yeah. No, I hope it's not too stressful for you. Yeah, you do sound very busy, even in your Instagram posts. So I was just like, oh no, are you okay?
I just feel like, I'm just going to say it, I've had a series of unfortunate events that have just been happening. It's just kind of like I can't catch up. And sometimes you just need to take a break on certain things to kind of alleviate
I think social media
that,
breaks are helpful once in a while. I do that too. I just force myself not to be on Instagram. I think it's refreshing when you come back after a while.
It really is. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about our community here, but what's the community like in Singapore?
Oh, okay. So we are a very small country.
I know, but a lot of people. Yes. Small, but a lot of people.
That's true. We have a lot of people. That's true. Our paper florist community here, I think, is pretty small as well. I actually don't know a lot of local paper florists. I think less than 5. I think I only know less than 5. And some of them are, not full time. They're probably just doing this as a side hobby. So it is very small, which is kind of good because from the business point of view, it's not too competitive and we kind of all know each other. So it's still a very kind of, I think we all kind of understand each other's style, that we all each have a niche. So we don't feel, I don't think it's like any kind of threatening kind of atmosphere. It's still very good. It's just that I think we want to grow bigger. We want more people to know about what we do. Because I think in US, US, I think a lot of people have this kind of knowledge of what paper flowers or crepe paper flowers are. But in Singapore, their idea of paper flowers is usually the standard cardstock paper flowers. They don't really understand what crepe paper flowers are. So I do get so many inquiries about people asking me, oh, can you make these paper flowers? And I'm like, oh, sorry, that's not my kind of paper. I use crepe paper. So it's very different and it's priced very differently as well. So I think what we want to do here, or at least I want to do here, is just to spread awareness and let more people know about this art form, because it's still it's still not as popular here, I don't think, not yet at least.
So the 5 people in Singapore, do you guys meet on a regular basis, or how do you
I'm a little shy, so I'm really bad at initiating meetings, but Jasmine was really, really great. Jasmine was, I think, the first one who initiated like a gathering and allowed me to like really meet more of the paper florists. And yeah, I think you just need that one person who, stand up and be like, yes, let's meet. And the rest is history. So I'm really grateful to Jasmine. She's been, just such a great friend.
Jasmine's been wonderful. We've had her on the podcast just a couple of weeks ago, and just a gangbuster, doing so well in Korea right now.
Brave.
It's amazing.
I mean, she's in a different country. She's dealing with all these new and foreign elements. I don't know how she does it. Like, I'm so comfortable in my home country, and the fact that she has to do it somewhere else is just amazing.
It really is just amazing. Okay, one of the things I'm really curious about, because you're really known for your workshops. Tell us about, I love how you're sharing it on Instagram and your posts and your stories. How are you able to do such an amazing workshop and get the word out?
Maybe it helps because Singapore is so small. Right? Yeah, I think it helps because because Singapore, when you if you travel from one end to the other end, it's not going to take more than 1 hour by car, I don't think. So I think in that sense, it's easier for participants to travel. Like, you don't have to worry about commuting. Workshop, I think I always wanted to do workshops when I started my brand, because I kind of like teaching a lot, and I know it's important because crafting is such a personal thing and you don't really meet people while you're crafting. So workshops is a great way to socialize and get the word out, have more people learn about this craft. Yeah, I think it's also great because Singapore has this workshop culture, especially people from my generation, the 20s and 30s, in the 20s and 30s. They do, there is a trend for us to go and attend workshops, like one-off workshops. So when I first started, I think things like calligraphy and watercolor painting was very much in trend, and everyone was conducting workshops. And I was just like, okay, maybe I can introduce something new. So I tried it out, and I think it was a bit difficult at the beginning. Like, I remember my first workshop, I only had maybe 2 people show up, which was it wasn't as encouraging as maybe having a whole class, but it was a really great kind of learning experience. And then from there, I just told myself I should just keep doing this a bit more regularly, just to train up and get comfortable with conducting workshops, about, knowing how to teach, knowing how to market workshop. And yeah, I just been doing like seasonal workshop. I know some other artists, they might be doing more regular workshops like every month or every week. But because I don't have a permanent space where I can teach out of. So I'm usually looking around for spaces to rent, and then I will, blast out my workshops. So that's another tricky point about Singapore, because rental is very expensive here. Mm-hmm. So if I could have my own studio, I would, but unfortunately I can't really afford it right now. So yeah, sometimes holding workshops can be tricky because you need to cover your rental costs and you need to make sure that enough people sign up. You have to market it. So I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing to do, but it is I do enjoy it. So I try my best to host workshop from time to time. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Do you find your students come to your workshops to learn for a purpose, like because they want to either get into the hobby or they want to make flowers for their weddings or gifts? What do you find? Like, what kind of students do you normally get signing up for your workshops?
A lot of them, I think they just want to make something pretty as a gift, or they are kind of preparing for a wedding, like you said. There are a handful who are very interested in this craft and, are more serious. Like, they'll actually buy the books and, they talk to me about the paper types and which books to read, etc., etc. So yeah, there are these 2 types, but I would think the majority of them are they just want to do something fun and make something pretty and then bring it home. Yeah.
Eileen, what would you say is the most challenging part of running your own business? in Singapore as a paper florist? I mean, that's so many factors already. What's, in your opinion, the most challenging thing that you've faced?
For me personally, I mean, there are so many challenges, right? Like starting your own business and being an artist and a business owner at the same time. But for me, it's like, I think in Singapore, especially because we are such, we are a very fast-paced society. So I've been brought up in like the good schools, and it's always like, okay, when you grow up, you gotta be a doctor or a lawyer and stuff like that. So I never thought being a full-time crafter or artist was an option for me. I never considered it until, I got into the working world and I was like, oh, this is it. Like, am I supposed to do like this?
That sucks.
I mean, no offense to people in my past company, but, I just didn't have that sense of fulfillment. And I think there was always like that inner artist in me who just really wanted to make something with my hands and, have that sense of fulfillment. So the biggest challenge, I think, was just overcoming that fear of people not understanding and not accepting my career choice. Because for me, I am really like the exception here. Like, I don't have a lot of friends who are, their own bosses, who are freelancers, and they don't really get it. It's really like, we are kind of like a very conservative Asian society. A lot of priority is, or a lot of stock is given to, how much money you make, what your status is, and all that. So when I tell people, oh yeah, I just have my own paper flower business, I get a lot of raised eyebrows. I get a lot of question marks, like, what? Oh, okay, are you serious? So I definitely felt I wasn't taken very seriously when I first started out. And that was a big hurdle for me, because I'm generally quite a self-conscious person too. So having to start out, this on my own and not having a lot of, people accepting and understanding, it didn't really boost my self-confidence. But I'm so thankful that right now I can kind of prove them wrong. I can kind of show them like, oh, hey, I do have some measure of success and I am very, very happy and I feel very fulfilled. So yeah, the biggest challenge was just kind of getting over that hurdle of, not feeling that this was a right choice, I guess, because it wasn't very accepted. And I was afraid that people would look down on me and question me. So yeah, that was definitely a challenge.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, even in the US, they have this feeling where friends and family, they're kind of like, what do you do? You're a crafter, and how are you able to bring in money? And it's really interesting. I think a lot of component is like when you do sell craft to your friends or family, they always expect a discount or can you lower the price? And you're like, but I spent hours on this. I'm putting myself less than minimum wage to give you a product that if I sold to a regular retail, I could get a full price for. And I feel like of all the people, friends and family should value you even more and not ask for a discount. And so, but then the guilty part of as being a friend, you're like, oh, let me mark it down. You also have that component too. And so it's just kind of like a battle. Like you have to find worth and value yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part, because how do you put value on your time and your designs? It's so hard to put a price on that.
Yeah.
I always thought in the US it was so much better because there's such a big crafting community there. I thought everyone would be more open and accepting to a crafting career.
I wish that was the case, but I think as you talk to, I know, but I think if you talk to other paper floors, I think you're going to hear that same story over and over. And yeah, I know. Hopefully, it's changing. I feel like what we're doing right now, what we're talking about, what we're showcasing and getting more and more face value in the industry, it's giving that credibility that paper flowers is more than just a craft. It's an art form. I want to take my hat off to you because you've taken that to the next level. You've done so many amazing projects with like Heads and some other amazing high-end brand. Can you talk about a little bit about that? How you got that and how you're able to like match your brand with what they're doing?
I think those were all, really great kind of blessings to me too. Like I wasn't expecting them. I think I do get a few people asking me like, oh, how did you, get in touch with these brands? Like, do you reach out to them? And the honest answer is no, I didn't do anything. I just think, again, Singapore is so small that if you Google, paper flowers Singapore, there's only a handful of websites that will pop up. So I'm just lucky that my website is one of them and they, kind of found me to be a good fit. So usually it starts off with just one email and then we'll discuss what they need and what I can provide. And then after that, it's just, it goes on from there. But I do want to emphasize it's not all glamorous and stuff.
No,
it's
those
not.
ones are
There's
the
so much
least
work.
glamorous
Yeah.
missions. Let's be honest. On the outside, it's very glamorous.
Yes, it looks
but
great.
and my personal experiences, the timelines that they give you are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the
the communication.
And then some brands are great at paying, and some are just, you've got to be kidding me, like.
Yeah. And then you'll respond right away and it'll be like weeks later, like, oh, I guess they dropped me.
And then last minute, right?
And then they come back. It's like, yes.
And then you're like, I only have a week left.
That all applies to me too. I think it's all the same. It's universal. And I'm kind of used to it. Like the payment thing, I've just standardized that, okay, I'm going to make it my payment policy. I'm going to make it like a 3-month payment term. So 3 months.
You're very generous.
Long, but I just hate to please them, it stresses me out to have to like type an email like, oh, hey, where's my money? I don't want to do that. So
yes, exactly.
I decided like, I'm going to let it go and I'm just going to do it. Like, okay, you can pay me in 3 months. I think that's more than enough time. So
wow.
Yeah.
You are very generous. Do you ever get nervous about running out of paper? I mean, here in Canada, I get so nervous when I get a big order because I'm like, I have to make sure I have the paper because like Quinn said, they're going to like hold off until the very end before they say, okay, it's been approved, confirmed, here's your money. And it's like 2 weeks. And what if I run out of paper? Because I got to ship everything in too. And you're in Singapore, like shipping from Italy or the US to Singapore, like that takes time.
Yeah, it does. So usually I just tell them straight, like I tell these brands straight, like, oh, hey, I do have to ship in my stock. So you have to give me this amount of time to prepare. And, if they can't meet those, if they can't give me that time, then I'll have to say no, I think right now I am better at saying no. Like last time when I first started, I'm all about, yes, I'll do anything for you, no matter the amount of money. But now I think, it's important to, put value on your time and your worth. So if they're not giving me enough time, I'll just kind of like gently kind of say like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not a good fit for you. Maybe you can look for someone else. So I do get anxious about the paper. It's one of the stressing points for me. So far, I haven't had any problems with it because I think Carta Rossi, because I buy straight from Carta Rossi and they have this amazing like 3-day shipping, which is really
wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
There are only 2 options. They only have 3-day shipping and 7-day shipping. So very interestingly, I don't know if other people know this, but if you compare the prices, their 3-day shipping is cheaper than their 7-day shipping. I don't know why, but it's something like, I think it's something's wrong with their website or something. I don't know.
We should tell them this.
Anyone buying from the website, just make sure you check both shipping options and see which price is cheaper. Usually when I buy it, the 3-day shipping option is cheaper. So I just be like, okay, 3 days is great. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Amazing tip. Amazing tip.
Never had a bad experience with the shipping so far.
Yeah, they're wonderful to work with. I know Mike Benson from Cart Finney is heading there in October to visit them.
Gosh.
I know.
I want to work there too. Like I want to see how the paper's made. I want to like choose the colors. That's such a fun job.
I know. It would be so much fun. And also to be able to name the colors. I think that would be such a fun job. Yeah. If you ever get a chance, you should definitely meet with Mike Benson. We had such a blast meeting with him at the masterclass. And I feel like he's a friend now.
I had your podcast with him. He's such
he's a guy. He's so generous. Yeah. And he really is like a great friend to all of us in our community. Like he just really wants to support us. Obviously it's mutually beneficial, but like he's genuine about it, and he's willing to collaborate with us, or it doesn't matter what level you're at. You don't have to be particularly, famous for him to want to work with you. He really wants to just support everyone. I mean, he's great. And he's funny as hell.
Yep. And he's so easy to talk to. Yeah, he's so funny.
He is very easy to talk to.
The things that just comes out of his mouth is hilarious.
And I also think it's kind of cool to have, one guy. I mean, I'm not like... No, it is true. We are definitely a female-dominated
industry.
Yeah. So it's just cool to have like one guy be like, okay, I'm interested in quick paper too.
And it's so funny because I feel like we know all the guys that are paper florists. We're like, we can name them off and like, yes, we know exactly who you're talking to because there's such a small handful of guys in our industry, but it's so much fun. They're so talented.
Yes.
Eileen, I just want to say, I hope I get to meet you in Singapore or in Korea or in the United States. Will you ever leave Singapore? Do you ever vacation? I feel like you never vacation.
I totally vacation. I'm actually planning a trip to the US next year because one of my friends is getting married in May. So I'm hoping to travel around the States, and I'll definitely try to drop by as many places as I can to meet people. But
will you hit the West Coast?
I'm not sure yet. I hope so because I study in Berkeley, so it's nice to kind of go back to San Fran because San Fran has a lot of I'm very I miss San Fran a lot, so it'll be great to go back to San Francisco. And I also love Seattle. When I visited, I mean, even though it rains a lot, I kind of just love it's so romantic, the rain, and it's so cool. I do hope.
Not unless you live here.
Yeah, if I could, I would definitely, but I have to think about the logistics of it.
Yeah.
But hopefully I can meet people.
It is expensive. Yeah. Well, let me know. I will try my best. If you even go down to the Bay Area, I would love to come down and see you.
I think it's so cool that you guys are doing these international paper flowers workshops. I think that must be it's such a daunting task, right? To book a venue, to coordinate, and you have all these people flying in, which is really, really cool. But I don't know. It just sounds like a very daunting, incredible headache.
There's so much background logistic on putting something like this together. It takes months. Literally Priscilla, Jesse, and I, we were meeting once or twice a week, and we would work for several hours all together, pulling all these components together and doing our own jobs.
That's right. It's crazy. I don't know how you ladies do it. It blows my mind.
It was a great partnership. Even though Priscilla has moved on, she's now a teacher at I believe at her elementary school where her daughter attends. And so, but it's been, she was wonderful. She balanced us out, and we all pulled something to the table. And so now,
I was wondering about that. Because
she did show up.
Yeah, I thought maybe she's busy and she has something on. So she's not is she not doing this anymore? Not making flowers?
Well, she's doing some of it. She's doing it as a minor part-time. I think one commission or one job at a time. So she's very choosy about her commission. And also she's want to focus more on our family right now.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but that might be a bit more work for you too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I know.
Let's just come back.
I know.
Just help on something.
I wish Priscilla would get pregnant again. If you're listening, Priscilla, get pregnant and join us again.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, but I didn't I was a bit shy to ask about it because I didn't want to be where's everyone? But no, thank you for telling me. I was that explains it. Okay. But I hope she's happy and doing well as well.
Yeah, she seems so much more happy because she was working like a mad woman. She was working easily, I would say 12, 14 hours a day, just working, wake up. She wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning, work, and then take her child to school, and then come back, work all day, make dinner. And then after she puts her daughter to bed, she's back working again. And she's doing this 7 days a week. And her commissions, when she was doing it, it was 8 weeks out because she wasn't able to catch up, which is ridiculous.
No. That's another thing I admire about you ladies is that you have families, you have kids. I'm still single. I have no husband, no kid. And sometimes it's already very hectic for me. So I can't imagine that, when I get married and I have a kid, I don't know how I'll be able to deal with it. So you guys are superwomen for me. I really don't know how. You managed to just juggle all these things. It's incredible.
I think you managed. But I definitely think Priscilla was working way too much for her to find balance.
Okay.
Her family was she has a lot of extended family in Virginia. And so they were demanding a lot of her time. We were noticing that a lot and she was rushing out. And so I think she made a, good choice to kind of, slow it down, at least the paper flower part.
Okay.
If not anything else. But I think honestly, I think women are amazing. We have so many hats. We're great multitaskers. We're able to take on a lot of things. Even Quinn's super stressed, but she can still get things done. She can still function without being a man child. We still have to take care of our other, our significant other, our dogs, our kids.
Yes.
run the household and run a business. Yeah, I think we are kind of like super women in a way.
Yeah.
But at some point, like if it's too overwhelming, like you got to stop, right?
Yeah.
Like there has to be a time when you stop, reflect, and decide, can I be superwoman like 24/7 for 10 years? Probably not.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think a lot of paper flower artists started off, with a full-time job. They picked up the craft, and then they want to transition. And it's such a difficult decision of how to do that.
It's such a brave choice.
There may be a time when they decide, this is too much, or I'm not earning enough. Or so when do you, shift back? So, I mean, your story was really interesting. You had a full-time job and you picked up a hobby, and you, despite what your expectations or your parents' expectations or cultural expectations are, you decided to go ahead, follow your heart, your gut, and craft. That's amazing. That takes a lot of guts and confidence.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm very, very blessed that it's all worked out, so that I can kind of be like, proved you wrong. But I'm really glad it's turned out, good. But I mean, I do still, think about the future, because I do get questions that are like, oh, are you planning to do this for like the next 5 years or 10 years? And the honest truth is,
it's kind of like if you stayed in your job, people would never ask you, are you going to continue working here for 5 years?
Right.
Be a teacher for 5 years. Like,
I just think there's a lot of like skeptics in the world, which is fine, because I think the world has made us into such. Yeah, I do get those questions, and the honest truth is, I really don't know. I'm just going to see how far this takes me. And, if I do need to, make a decision for whatever reason to change or transition back to a full-time 9-to-5 job, then I will. But for now, it's good. It's going great. So yeah, I'll just be making flowers until I die, hopefully. We'll see. I don't know. The trends change as well. Like right now, everyone's like warming up to paper flowers. At least in Singapore, the interest is growing. But, it's very hard to say in the next 5-10 years what's going to happen. So, yeah, we shall see.
Yes. I say ride the high as it's going right now.
And it's so great that we're growing. Yeah, it's so great.
Well, thank you so much, Eileen. It was such a pleasure talking to you. And I seriously hope that we will be able to meet next year somewhere in the United States if we can. If not, I'll fly over to Asia.
If you have another international big conference or something, I will try to come over. Like, I'll try my best.
Or it could be in Singapore.
It could. It really, I don't know. It's expensive here. But we'll definitely, I think, in the future, I think there will be much more possibilities. So I'm excited. Yeah,
thank you so much.
No, thank you for your time. I'm very grateful that you guys pulled out time from your busy schedules to chat with me. That's really cool.